head, and there he goes. Abyss gonna clean him up.
Olaf goes down. Everyone's just gonna line up here for Lazzy. He's gonna find himself the Quadra. Give it to him. Pentakill.
Priestley with the quad feed.
Gets the ace. Available, just spin to win all over.
That game was insane.
And hello and welcome everybody. We have ourselves our first Overwatch match of the season. Going to be an absolute banger, as we do have, of course, Stonybrook Esports versus our very own St. Clair Saints. My name is Dan Banner, also known as Mr. Danners. Joining alongside me for the first time in a while, we've got Amanda Dupuis, also known as Commanda. How are you doing, Amanda?
Very good. First time on campus today, so I'm very excited to cast in person. First time ever. We have a really exciting new roster starting here. We have Arjun, Bailable, Cheesy, Apostle, G-Scales, 9, and then on the bench right now we have Kale and Argonaut. Great starting lineup, probably the strongest team we've ever seen for St. Clair College. Of course, returning, we do have Bailable and Apostle and Kale, but a lot of exciting new faces that have been seen in the Overwatch collegiate scene, and even, I do believe, semi-pro scene for a little bit now.
Oh, absolutely. I know the recruiting here. I know Chris has been specifically going absolutely nuts trying to build this team to make it as stacked as absolutely possible. And it is cool that we still get to see some of our returning players, like you're saying, Kale and Bailable still on the roster. Apostle, a returner from last semester as well, I do believe, back in the online era. Yeah, having G-Scales, we have 9 and Arjunk now. And it's going to be interesting to see how we can hold up against Stonybrook Esports Squad, which is a team I feel like we've played before in some Overwatch, but it's definitely been a while, and it's been a while for anything NACE related as well. Of course, season opener, we saw the Rocket League match earlier for NACE, but that was just preseason. NACE is not wasting any time here. We're going right into the action. We're going to be going right into the regular season, as some of the players on the side of Stonybrook are hopping into the lobby very, very shortly here. But we don't really have much time to warm up. It's just go.
Yep, I think Overwatch team, talking to a few of the members, they're very excited. They're also a little nervous because the first game it's big, right? We're not having a preseason. It's just right into the league starting out right now, and it's also the first day of the semester. So that's very very exciting big day for all the players on both teams.
Absolutely. We get to see him up on the top as well, of course. We got an SK, and we have everybody here in person. It's spread out as much as possible, of course, to make sure everything's still good to go. But everybody's here good to go. We actually get that LAN environment that players, and I know even myself, have been craving for such a long time here. Online was nice, but playing from home gets old after a little while, and it just doesn't feel the same. So being back in person, absolutely fantastic.
Sure, the energy is just unmatched compared to playing in person. Just seeing the guys in there earlier, their comms, everything, the excitement from just playing quick play matches was totally different than anything I've ever seen, or even when I played on the team last year. Completely different dynamics.
Absolutely, absolutely. On time. Still just waiting on a couple players to hop on in before we do get ourselves started. But we're looking at maps. As of right now, I mean, this could very well change, but we have Ilios being hovered as of this very moment. I know a lot of players might like to switch to a different type of tank. Maybe pull some people into the wells, knock them off the side or something. But I know it's been a little bit, but is there any map that really sticks out in mind for something that we could probably take note of in this best of 5?
Sure, so I think definitely Ilios is a good test. See how well-rounded both teams will be, for that matter, because of the diversity of the maps. But you do have well, which is quite difficult to kind of like dance around that point, as you can get hooked, CC'd into that well, and you know, then you lose a player like that. As well as you have the lighthouse. That's also very difficult because it's all on the edge of the map, so it's very easy to just lose players, and then you have to regroup and try to make it back in time for those team fights. As well as Ruins. I do believe it's called that. I haven't played in a little bit, but
the pit, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a lot of like Widowmaker, like for snipers and stuff. There is an edge you could fall off of, but because of the verticality of that map, it's very difficult to keep track of all of your surroundings. So it's definitely a test for both of these teams to kind of get a grasp of what they're good at, what their flaws will be, and what other teams' advantage of them of.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, one thing that I'm also curious, because we saw this a ton past Saints team. We have a majority new roster, however. Is Kings Row still going to be picked?
Kings Row, classic Saints Row, as we like to
Saints
call
Row.
it. It's a classic map, for some reason, the Saints have always done well in that map from every team I've seen. Just a lucky map, I guess.
The days of picking 5 tanks on a Lucio and just throwing it at the point hoping for the best. But of course, we can't do that now. We're roster locked, which of course, there being 2 tanks, 2 DPS, 2 supports, that has to be the case. You cannot mix and match anymore for the sake of actually making this game somewhat close to balance and not having go. But
For sure. Hopefully we don't have
Nothing
any
like
broken
that.
comps in Overwatch 2, but,
Absolutely. Like, of course, there's still going to be characters or some heroes that are going to be sought after a little bit more. But as long as it's not the entire comp being the exact same thing. But at the same time, I guess there is that opportunity where this comp is just better because it's this. Like, I do
sure.
see that happen on occasion. It's like, okay, that kind of makes sense. That's sort of what Overwatch is supposed to be, right? And of course, we did all that breakdown for Elias. I knew this would happen because this is just classic commentator coming out from myself, but it does, like, Nepal is going to be the up. However, a little bit of a similar styled map in the sense that you have the one version where Lucios and Wrecking Balls just have so much fun because you just knock them off the side. You have the other form where not the pit, but it's the pagoda, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to all sandwich yourselves in between a very, very narrow hallways and then into a narrow building. So back to May.
Sure.
And then there's the other version that's kind of losing, or going off the top of my head as is in this moment. But it's going to be an interesting one nonetheless. We did see this a little bit from Saints event that just happened a couple of well. So looking forward to seeing how our Saints perform here.
I do know that a lot of players have picked up new heroes and are trying out new team comps. I know for a fact, Available has been getting really good on that Tracer, as well
That's
as
different.
yeah, which is very different for him compared to a lot of the hit scan he played last semester. So same goes for almost every player on the team. I've seen them play totally different heroes, so I don't know what to expect from our Overwatch team tonight. So it's going to be very exciting to see what they choose and what team comp that they think be their strong suit, and maybe they'll find their weak point.
Absolutely. Here's the real question. I have a piece of tape. My mask keeps falling right off my nose like every 30 seconds, I swear to God. But at the same time, it's an absolute pleasure to be back in person with players all competing as it falls down again. the players are competing. We get to actually go into our classroom again. It's going to be awesome to have a studio prior to Arena itself actually construction. Just a couple more months for that as well. And it looks like I'm seeing some R's across the board, so we do not have to wait very much longer to get ourselves into the will be just a moment. But right now, we're enough. Off to Nepal to start things.
Very, very exciting. Starting off our first Overwatch match in person at St. Clair College. And looks like we are starting off on, I actually forget the name of it, but the map with the pagoda in the middle.
Here's the pagoda. Yeah, here we go. So this is one I was talking about a little bit earlier, where there's like a little bit of a narrow chokeway. You'll probably see a lot of Reinhardt or something to try and keep this all shielded up and choked out. But I guess you can see some other ones as well. This is going to be the capture point for the map this time by. Hop in here, score the points, build your percent, and get yourself to 100% to successfully score this first round, which is basically a best of 3, I believe, within itself.
We can see a little bit of the early comp building that they're deciding on right now. It looks like St. Clair is looking to run the Lucio Baptiste, also the May Symmetra, and a Reinhardt Diva. And we also have, on the opposing team, we have a Lucio Bap Ryan, May, Sigma, and McCree. So similar comps, but the Symmetra definitely kind of like throws you for a loop there.
Absolutely. We're going to see it off right here, and I like the strategy there from the Saints because it does allow them to get the high ground quickly. The Symmetra teleport, perfect to get them onto the high ground. We're going to be blowing a bunch of utility to start things off. We see the battle at hand here. The Saints do have the proper position, and that's going to be the first casualty, as it is going to be Bayable with that charged up laser shredding through everybody. Apostle got to get himself on the board alongside Jeezy. This first point here is looking all Saints.
Saints pretty much got the team wipe very early, which is very important for the point capture, because it usually goes with whatever team gets that first point capture typically has the advantage here, because they're in the position of power. They are holding that point, and you have to push them off and break in and wait on that point for a few seconds and able to get it. It looks like Baptiste does pop his window as this team is going in. Oh, Bayable gets knocked out by Peach, and the Blind Shatter misses.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate there for Apostle. He looked for the flank around, and right now Seawolf may be the support, but he's absolutely fragging out here to try and keep his squad in the game here. Stonybrook Esports not quite flipped this over. The Saints are barely hanging on by a thread, but we're seeing a lot of blue here in the kill feed for the side of Stonybrook. They just have to finish off 9, it looks like. Baptiste is just being an absolute pain in the rear, but it is still finally going down. They're finally going to get this thing switched up. Saints are going to have to go to the back as our opponents here, Stonybrook Esports, going to get themselves some points finally here and get some percent building.
Very impressive Lucio gameplay by Seawolf. We don't often see a DPS Lucio that is as good at healing as they are at DPSing.
Absolutely. One thing to take into consideration, though, look at the resources on the side of Stonybrook. We have so many ults down, including the Shatter out of AKJC God, and he's going to be there to get the double. Saints may have had a couple ultimates and maybe try and contest, but with so many people going down so quickly, it's just back to the drawing board. Back up, try again.
Going to be a reset for Saints as they try to find their way past that May wall and into Stonybrook. Stonybrook is going to retreat a little bit, kind of get a little bit better footing here to face St. Clair. And also, St. Clair seems to have 5 out of their 6 ultimates almost ready for this fight, as well as Stonybrook. They also have 5 out of 6. G-Scale's trying to get in, and the May Blizzard comes out. Lucio beat by the side of St. Clair. Cheesy is freezing everybody in the place. Knocks out I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce that username. Knocks out everybody at this point. Holy moly. That's going to be a reset by Stonybrook.
Holy smokes, that was a 5 ult fight on both ends there. I was going to give big props to Stonybrook, actually, because that first initial fight, they held that off with just the use of AKJC God's Shatter. And everything else was still in the bank, but at the same time, they just blew everything except Wongsky's Deadeye. So that's the only thing they have, and trying to attack with it is a little bit more irritating, as we now do see the side of Stonybrook. They're going to be making their way on over, but they have to watch out for this gigantic shield being placed here by Bayable. They do finally get themselves into position. We see Wongsky lit up there. He's looking for the Deadeye. That is a huge wall there coming out from Cheesy to at least stop that for a second. That being said, though, Saints get it all the way to 90, but they lost their positioning.
Huge Shatter!
That is huge double Shatter coming out from both of these Reinhardts. Just absolutely hammer swinging, and right now, it is looking like it's on the favor of the side of Stonybrook. No, never mind. Saints look like they're turning this one around. G-Scales and Cheesy really making things a little bit difficult here for the final 2. We do see Ardrunk there as well, just making sure he's on the point, trying to contest. He does end up going down, however. Where is Bayable trying to get back in here as well? And it looks like, slowly but surely, Stonybrook saved this.
Wow, that was incredible. For a second there, it looked like St. Clair really had the upper hand, but I guess they're forced to retreat, probably by lack of resources and health. But, you know, the May wall does come out here, and they're trying to break in any way they can.
Oh my.
Huge Zarya ult.
I mean, it was huge, but at the same time, they didn't really get any damage done out of it. So now, all of a sudden, it's a bit of an even fight. Try to juke this wall here, blocking us out apparently too, but that's going to be Apostle with a double off a Flame Strike to kill both of the supports. What a shot from him. And that is going to just make this absolutely snowball. Saints do get control of the point. So now it is the absolute trickle fest. Right now, the side of Stonybrook, they have to keep somebody on the point. And to be fair, they're actually turning this one around. The only one here is G-Scales. He has no health. And now it's Saints who have to touch. So 99-99, somebody's got to touch. And no, Saints will not get it done. It's going to be Stonybrook taking care of the first round here on game 1.
That's such a difficult position to be in once you're walled off and you only have a few seconds to touch, to be able to make it around in time, especially when you don't have too much mobility other than your Lucio, really, to get around fast enough, as well as their Lucio is going to try to boop you. Everybody's going to CC you, so you cannot touch. That was incredible by the side of Stonybrook to push St. Clair off and then be able to take that from their 99% and cap the point to finish off the round.
Well, but now we get to come to the fun part of Nepal, at least in my opinion here, as we see this gigantic pit just menacingly sitting there waiting to be, or have somebody as their next victim. Will definitely come to play at some point sooner, and we do see a lot of composition changes from both sides to kind of reflect this. We see Roadhog with a gigantic displacement with that hook, and then a lot of long-range DPS to try and avoid those close encounters. As the Saints try to move forward, but they're opting against a teleport strategy. They don't want to be the first ones on this time by a little bit of a poke fight to start things off.
Arjun kind of just peeking here at the other team, trying to do a little bit of damage. Oh, but G-Scales gets wiped out. However, Peach and AKJC God end up getting taken down with him.
Yeah, a little bit of a back and forth here. Clips, though, this time going to be on the Sigma, going to be able to take care of Cheesy. So Soldier 76 off the point. Apostle, however, in a decent spot, able to start trying to get some capture on this point. We see 3/4 away. Of course, that circle right in the middle. That's what I'm referring to when I'm talking about the capture for those who aren't aware. And you see just barely. Nice job by Nine to actually go finish that off. Is going to sacrifice himself in order to get that, but now the percentage is building here for St. Clair. And as long as Stonybrook can't blitz it, then Saints is going to start just keeping up that percentage gain.
Holding point and having that point presence here is very, very difficult. As you can see, Apostle is peeking as much as he can. You don't want to get pushed off at this point too early, and you run that risk. Wow, people are going left, right, center here. We're kind of even. The Hanzo ultimate comes out. But it looks like we're still kind of even. It could be anybody's game right now. However, Stonybrook does still hold the point.
Yeah, a lot of players down. Unfortunately there for G-Scales. That boulder did not hit its target. Never mind, just left click him instead. Nice shot there from G-Scales. He's supposed to be the Hanzo's supposed to be the sniper, but G-Scales looking absolutely fantastic. The flux going to be coming up. Pick him up, have to knock him right back down alongside the attack visor from Cheesy. Going to just absolutely lick the floor here of these Stonybrook players, and there is nothing they can do. They have to give this up.
St. Clair once again capping that point. Very much neck and neck right now. Each team seems to take about 10-20% and then hand it off to the next. Let's see if St. Clair can hold this point for more than one team fight. As ultimates are about even right now too, so it could really be anybody's game.
Yeah, except for here, AK is basically just a displacement machine at this point here, but we see a massive start here for the Saints. Bailable finds himself one, Arjunk finds himself another. Again, DPS Lucio coming in clutch here apparently for the Saints, and they just push them right back to the spawn point. Otherwise, they're just going to get trickled out and waste more time. 55% now here for the Saints to try and tie this first game up 1-1.
One pick can really mean the difference between winning and losing. Like, a 5v6 is much harder than a 6v6.
Oh, we hear it all coming out. Here comes the dragon. Watch out from Kevin, and he's got to watch out for the flank from the side. And that was actually beautifully done there for the side of Stonybrook. They all try to run away, but they run right into the line of fire of Wongsky. And there's a lot of damage down. They're going to be forcing Arjung's speed drop, so that's a massive shield across all of the Saints. But is that going to be enough? We see AKJC, the tank god, just absolutely going crazy. Arjunk is finally going to fall on sight, and this is going to flood right back on over here to the side of Stonybrook.
It's not great that Arjunk had to use his ultimate there when only the Orisa was alive, so now St. Clair's down more ultimates. They were able to prolong that point a little bit more, but now St. Clair needs to try to break in with no beat. And it looks like Dragons will be coming out from the side of St. Clair into Stonybrook, but it doesn't manage to get any picks, just kind of force them back a little bit. Oh, but Cheesy gets taken out by Seawolf.
Oh, right in the corridor as well. A little bit of an awkward spot to be in, and we do see, of course, a little bit of a suffering here for Arjunk. Of course, such a slow character. Zenyatta just has so much damage, so much healing, but definitely has the counteract with that very, very slow speed. I have not seen an Orisa go for a flank, but we do see one here coming out from AKJC. Is going to end up going down as well. Bailable is popping off, and of course I don't have him on my camera as of this moment. Nicely done here. He's going to get this one all captured, and is going to finally get this one back into the Saints' favor, unless Eclipse thinking about doing something alongside Wongsky. Big play from them, actually. And again, Saints are just kind of stuck going in. Where is the point? What is the progress? And right now, it's going to be Eclipse, Seawolf, and Wongsky, who's in a very, very tough position to try and hold off versus 6, but it is possible they can take care of it right here, right now, just a little bit longer. 92 across the board. Saints are trying to fight on in. We do see the shield coming down. That's across the side of Stonybrook Esports. The Dragon got to get to as well. 9 with the last second save, but can somebody touch the point? They will, but they won't last long. It looks like Stonybrook going to pull this one back from behind and capture this one 2-0. This might be it. If this is a best of 3, they're going to jump down, and sure enough, the rounds are best of 3. So Stonybrook is going to take game number 1.
Wow, that was some intense Overwatch. I mean, like, I was not expecting that flank Orisa, but it is a little
That was so weird.
It's a little bit underrated. I mean, she is pretty strong, right? I mean, if you don't hear her, you know, staggering over to your team, she can do a lot of damage.
Great Apostle going to get himself the play of the game here. That double support kill with the Fire Strike was absolutely beautiful. So fair enough in that own regard. However, that is not going to be enough to actually get the job done here for the game itself. So now, Saints are behind. Of course, this is best of 5. We still have lots of Overwatch here with us here today. Roster swap, or do we just see specifically map selection as the change here? And I think they might have just answered the question here for me because I see King.
Ah, yes, the classic Saints row. I'm not sure what they're gonna choose for roster swaps or heroes. I mean, Reinhardt is almost like Ryan Zarya is almost the law to play on this.
It's basically
map, right?
mandatory at this point.
So, yeah, we'll probably see that. It does seem that Stonybrook did have that advantage to kind of, they were both even, to be able to take that last little step forward. So we might see that here with the payload map. And to just kind of refresh that, the payload map is push a payload as far as you can, and then the next team will do the same thing, and whoever does it further wins. So if Stonybrook can kind of pull off that same mindset, you know, just push it a little bit further, then they'll end up going home with the win. But if St. Clair can kind of prove, you know, maybe it was just point capture that we're bad at, but we're really good at payload, maybe we'll be going on to a game 3.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit weird too, because you could very well just get shut down before the payload point happens here with this hybrid style, right? So it should be a little bit interesting, because I've seen one of 2 ways here for the most part with King's Row. Sometimes I get proven wrong, but majority of the time, like 9 times out of 10, it's like this, where either full hold on point 1 or you're going all the way. You're going to like the very, very end, and we're going into like multiple overtimes. But we'll have to see if that is the case. You can hear it in the background as we are about to get into game number 2. King's Row, Saints Classic, like you said. Let's get it.
Sure. Now, the one point you're going to want to watch out on this map is that little underpass right at the beginning, right past the first point, as you can see on screen there. That underpass is so difficult to get past, because if you get stopped on your first push, it's difficult to get back in there and push it past. So that will really be the test for our teams today, to see how coordinated they are to be able to get around that and restake their claim on the payload.
Absolutely. Seen so many teams, if not get permanently stuck here, like you said, just waste so much time here that by the time you get yourself like or proper footing to get yourself some ultimates, you either have to use way too many resources to get past there, or just don't move. It's definitely a hard spot to be in. And we're going to be seeing a lot of switches here available. What is that? Looks like a Widowmaker at first, but now going to be picking over to the Ashe. But it looks like he's playing a long range this game.
Oh, we are going to see St. Clair on attack here. And it does look like they're going to do the Sim TP. I wonder if they will do the classic Sim TP to the statue. Only time will tell, as Apostle eats all that damage real quick. Oh, sorry, G-Scales, my bad.
Oh, I see what they're doing here.
Very cheeky, trying to teleport to the top of the statue, I do believe. Cheesy trying to get an early pick here, with a Mercy Pocket kind of following him.
Yeah, that almost looked like a fake a little bit there, where they popped down the teleporter. They might have gone to the top of the thing, you're probably correct, but then instantly switching off, going over to this pharmacy combo. I like the idea as a Pharah main myself, but unfortunately we're kind of seeing why we don't see too much Pharah, as just gets instantly shot out of the sky like it's nobody's business, and the Saints are going back pack and trying to go to the drawing board and fix that one up back again.
Good try by 9 to try to save scales there, but it's too little too late, and Saints has to they can regroup quick and try to push past this one choke. This is another one of the chokes that are very hard to get past because you just funnel damage through here and really like stop your opponent from getting through.
I mean, we've definitely seen the solo queue classic, right? Where you just stick a Bastion out here and just funnel so much damage in.
Yeah.
Like, it's there's a reason why it's a go-to for some people because it's definitely strong in its own right, but not going to see that here today. Just going to use the entire team instead. Available, though, going to be having the flanks. Got to watch out, though. That was a bit of a nice shot there from Solo Flow in there on the side of Stonybrook. But now, the back-and-forth battle, and nicely done by Seawolf, actually. Not going to waste any time. Just going to shut that down instantly.
Seems St. Clair is going to be forced to regroup here as the Zarya Grav does wipe out most of them, as well as Baptiste Window. So St. Clair has one ultimate, and it appears Stonybrook is going to have about the same as they regroup and get ready to take on this point again.
Oh, the big thing, too, that's Kevin there on the May. He does have that Blizzard available alongside a Reinhardt Shatter. If you want area lockdown, you just need those 2 ultimates, and you've basically got everything shut down for days. We'll definitely see it. The Bongo could be coming out here, so we've got so much damage coming out here from the side of St. Clair, but the Shatter alongside the Blizzard coming out, and to be fair, it doesn't get squat, and it's going to be Cheesy now, getting into the flank. Big barrage. Unfortunately, didn't get the greatest of angles on it, but it's going to assist the Saints in getting an absolute wipe here on the Stonybrook squad, and finally going to get them that first checkpoint.
Wow, Saints really did act like those ults did not make an effect to them at all. That was crazy, and as we're looking here, it looks like Saints got a lot of ult charge from that, as Seawolf is the only one who has his ult from Stonybrook, as St. Clair is building up to about 2 right now.
Now here's that cursed choke point, though, and we're going to see Stonybrook more than likely absolutely try to crush them. We do hear the Sigma all coming out here. That is going to be from G-Scales, and to be fair, that's one way to do it. Just lift everybody up so that they can't even contest, and yet another team wipe here coming out from St. Clair, absolutely slaughtering the Stonybrook Esports squad. Going to mean we're going to be able to get through this checkpoint nice and fine, no issues there. And now we get to finally get moving here because these streets phase tend to go pretty quickly.
This is exactly why you need to have good team coordination at this point in the map, because if you're not keeping that momentum going, if you're stopped, it's very difficult to get that payload started again. So it's very good that they were able to kind of snowball that effect and hold them right near the beginning of the second point here. The Baptiste ult does come out by 9, however, Kevin Maywalls, and so does Cheesy. We're kind of back and forth right now, but St. Clair does have 2 picks over Stonybrook, and if they can get this Reinhardt, then it's almost time for Stonybrook to regroup.
I mean, the Saints should have definitely collapsed on that, and I think they slowly but surely are. However, they're trading things out maybe a little bit more than they very well could have. They only have 1 player on the cart currently, so that thing is moving at an absolute snail's pace. But Baleable coming in clutch here with the McCree, going to finally start getting a couple doubles here, takes care of the supports, and now the Saints are all here to push this one back. 2 points on the board. Just got to go for sweet old number 3 right around the corner. But now, ult-wise, this next fight's going to get messy real fast.
Apostle does have his Shatter, waiting for the perfect moment to use it, as he's going to have to watch for Seawolf's beat as well to kind of counteract the effects. And as I say that, there's a high noon going off by Baleable. Doesn't seem to hit anything.
Okay, Apostle did fire off that Shatter somewhere, but I don't see a whole heck of a lot going down unless it was solo onto AKJC. But Soloflow was able to get a double alongside that Deadeye. So many members of the Saints are dropping here. He's nothing but grounds and nothing but blue. Stonybrook are going to be able to stop this finally and maybe cut off some of that momentum that Saints were starting to run high with.
Window can be so deadly. You really have to watch for when the enemy pops it, because if they funnel the damage through there, especially on a map like this with such tight corners, very difficult to get out of there. And as I say that, there's a bit of a showdown going on. Kevin pops the Blizzard, and everybody is frozen on the side of St. Clair, except for Cheesy. However, they do pop Nine's window, and they are able to push through and get a few picks onto Stonybrook.
Yeah, both the Blizzards going out reminded me like a Canadian winter. But as of right now, it is going to be Saints just absolutely tearing through after that. Apostle is right up against the spawn door to try and trap them here.
Saints
Gotta
do
be
have to
careful.
remember not to overextend here.
Absolutely. We
So-
do. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. It seems that Saints are trying to hold them as far back as possible, and it seems to be working. Slowly, they're picking off each member of Stonybrook. However, May does get a good freeze on G-Scales.
The Shatter on this side of Stonybrook got absolutely nothing but shields, and that is a huge reason why Saints are going to be able to get this third capture point as long as they can stop AKJC and that wall at the last second. Shutting things down. St. Clair, 3 points on the board. Can side of Stonybrook get 3 points? Faster, however.
KJC really did demonstrate the reality of playing Wrecking Ball as he got walled and then he got booped and stunned right at the end there, so he sadly could not touch, but that was a very smart move on the side of St. Clair. Make sure they really secure that point, as well as popping that Deadeye to be able to get any stragglers that might be running out next.
Absolutely. Like what AK was JC, the emergency Wrecking Ball coming through, but was not enough to get the job done. Still can't go through the ice wall, no matter how fast you're rolling. So this time by, we'll get to see if we have something relatively similar. We saw Saints kind of try to fake a initial teleport play. Do we get something similar, or do we go a completely different approach? As I do see Solo.
Saints are going to be on the defense here, and again, their main goal is going to be stopping them from breaking through that initial choke at the gate there, and then if they do get through, to stop them at that little archway, or else it gets a little bit difficult to stop them past there, because it's very easy to snowball for Stonybrook to be able to snowball through those alleyways and get that win.
Definitely going to be keeping an eye, though, on Solo. This Junkrat, with these being such close streets and just having constant lobbing of grenades here, it is going to be an absolute terror to deal with. And I like he's waiting a second, waiting for his chance to strike, and then he's just going to start dumping damage AoE style here onto the Saints. However, the support line ready for it. Bailable's going to strike first blood, taking care of AKJC.
Saints are kind of trapped in a corner here, but however, they get their way out. They're slowly taking off Stonybrook and takes out Solo as well. Stonybrook puts up a May wall to kind of try to stop that damage, to be able to regroup fast enough before they're killed again.
So far, so good here for the Saints. We see G-Scales also making the swap on over to the Zarya instead for a little bit of possible combo potential, but or not necessarily combo potential in this case here, but at least a little bit of area denial, as we do see the window coming up once again here, but it is going to be blocked off there from the support on Peach on the side of Stonybrook. However, AKJC, once again, as soon as that invulnerability field goes down, just instantly gets dropped. A bit of a back and forth. Solo Flowan going down as well. Cheesy on an absolute terror. It's right along with him here as he's trying to chase down a couple of the rest of these players, send them back to spawn. Saints look like they take care of yet another team fight.
So many walls and windows going up, we could build a whole house.
Absolutely.
Seems like Stonybrook is going again, trying to push that point, and they pop the grab. Cheesy trying to freeze them for his life. Two May walls go up, and Baptiste...
Riptire.
Oh, Riptire comes in and takes out 3 from St. Clair, and Seawolf manages to finish off Cheesy as well.
Oh, it was a matter of time before that got thrown out, and when it did, it was absolutely critical. Triple kill, Solo Flowan, probably stealing play of the game off that, to be honest, and we'll probably see that a little bit later. So, Stonybrook Esports get themselves point number 1, and if we hop along with them a little bit further down here, they're still pushing.
Wow, there's a grab going on, a shatter, there's so much happening right now. It seems Stonybrook is trying to get out, but St. Clair gets the kills. And now, they're at the dreaded archway. This is what we did. Stonybrook does not want to happen right now. Once St. Clair holds them here, it's almost game over. It's very difficult to get out of this situation.
That's a tough thing, right? Like, Saints, when they got put into the position after they got the first point, they then won the team fight right after that like it was nobody's business, and they were able to bypass this extremely quickly. But right now, with the Saints winning that fight, I think basically Stonybrook has to use all 3 ults if they want to have any chance of even busting through this, especially with the cart sitting dead center. They can't get themselves in a good position. They're kind of forced to shoot one way to get around this cart, and they're going to finally try to make their move. Can they make it happen? We'll have to see. Hello, G-Scales! How about a Penta to just start that off and shut that down? Beautifully done. No ult needed.
Wow, that was insane. Sometimes one Rhine Shatter can make or break that whole game. St. Clair's really showing that this is their strong suit to be able to hold this. Wow, we have another Zarya grab going in. Wow, lots and lots of things coming out here. Arjunk does manage to get a kill on Solo. Ryan is frozen by St. Clair, and G-Scales and Apostle managed to get AKJC God out of the picture.
Yeah, they're absolutely all over the place. This fight is spread out, which in theory should be perfect for solo flowing up there in the high ground to just reign supreme on the Saints who are grouped up. But unfortunately for him, just gets focused out, taken down. He has no backup, so they're going to be stuck in this point. There's still 3 minutes on the clock, however. They have plenty of time, but they have to get all the way to the end of the streets, try and get some more time on the clock. Otherwise, they're going to get shut down here, and Saints are going to tie the series up 1-1.
St. Clair trying to hold this little wall here as they pop a window. However, Kevin does wall it off, and Baptiste puts up his immortality field, trying to mitigate that damage a little bit.
Oh,
wow.
A little bit rough there for the Saints. That shatter hit nothing, but on the contrary, AKJC at least got the one. Here's another grab on top of a Blizzard. We're going to stack those ults and keep them stuck here. A huge purple coming out to Seawolf, who actually switched over to the Ana. I like the switch up, as he was able to get some good purples, but unfortunately, you could purple them all they want, but you have no team in front of you, so you cannot capitalize in the slightest.
St. Clair getting those last few picks and for the alt charge and backing up as best as they can so they don't get picked off too early too. They are going to try to hold them a little bit beyond the archway, which is surprising, but they must have an idea.
Man, I don't mind the idea. At that point, they completely ran out of ultimate resources. So they knew if they took the head-on fight that it would be trouble. And Solo, how do you do it again? He's going to find another triple, and it wasn't even comboed with Eclipse. So Solo's just on an absolute tear. Finds himself a quad, looking for more. Kevin's going to find one, however, and Peach is going to get himself on the board as well here. So finally, after what felt like maybe 4 minutes of defense, the side of Stonybrook are finally going to get this streets phase moving. And unlike the Saints, they put 3 on the cart. They want to push this thing as fast as possible with only AKJC God up at the front to try and do a little bit of irritation alongside Eclipse, actually.
Stonybrook does need to keep St. Clair off of this 1 point here if they want to get more time on the clock. They have 1 minute to get it to the end here, but it looks like St. Clair does not want that to happen when they start popping window. Trying to find a pick here. Ryan's both charge into each other. It's hand-to-hand combat, and Arjunk and Apostle comes out on top. Available does pop Deadeye. Will he find anything?
Gosh, it's very rare do I ever see hand-to-hammer combat and the person with the hand win. But I mean, Available going point blank with a Reinhardt, absolutely no fear. Love to see it. And it's going to force everybody to slowly but surely just move away, reset here. Ultimates are not in the favor of St. Clair as of this moment, but now a few more are about to come online, including the shatter from Apostle.
Stonybrook does have to touch the next 30 seconds. As I say that, a big shatter on both sides.
Looking troublesome, but oh my God, Solo! How do you find these positions time and time again? And he's going to instantly wipe this out. There's only one more left. Seawolf getting on the board as well. These purples are on point. And now it's all up to point number 3. Going to possibly find themselves the 3 cap. No matter what, they're going to do it slower than the Saints. However, we do have overtime rounds if they can at least get there.
Stonybrook did manage to get that extra minute and a half on the clock. What can they do with it? Junkrat on this high ground is deadly.
Yeah, this is absolutely brutal here. Unless somebody can come up to challenge him, he has free reign to just absolutely feast. G-Scales is going to just, okay, we're just getting absolute madness here on the point. And we have ourselves another double kill with a Flame Strike, this time coming out of AKJC God. It's going to force Arjunk to pop the shield, pop the beat, and try to hang on for dear life just to try and get a little bit more time off the clock. Under a minute left. And yeah, you're exactly right. The Saints are staggered, and right now it's a 6 on like 5 or 4 in the favor of Stonybrook. Saints need to be careful, otherwise this is going straight to the end.
Available just respawned. Can he regroup in time for that 6v6?
Got Deadeye.
Oh my. This is interesting. If he can land this Deadeye. Oh.
Nope, no dice this time by. Going to be doing a little bit of damage to the shield, but that's about it. G-Scales on the Diva. A little bit of a last-minute speedy option here as well. Still relatively tanky, but a little bit hard to deal with sometimes. This thing is right on the point. Can somebody stop it? No, it is not going to be the case. So Saints are going to be a little bit up in regards to these overtime rounds, but Stonybrook come in clutch, hitting the 3 points.
I wasn't expecting that. In the beginning there, it did look like Saints were going to hold them right at that archway, but all of a sudden Stonybrook came out of nowhere, and Saints gave them that little bit of extra wiggle room. They weren't quite confident in their ability there without those ultimates, but it may have been their undoing at this point. They're going to have to really hold that first point to prevent Stonybrook from capturing and potentially getting all the way to the end again. Even that 1 minute is more than enough to capture that point and be able to secure that win. Although Saints do have 2.5 minutes, so we'll have to see if they get creative here and what they can do to try to secure this win.
Yeah, so of course Stony going to be up front to start things off, but Solo, my goodness, how many times did you clean up a team fight in that last round? That was absolutely nuts, and he's back on the Junkrat once again. You know what, plays like this is why the Overwatch community cries for hero bans. Am I right here? But you take that off and it would absolutely be a different game here. But that being said, everybody on the side, both squads are doing absolutely crazy dance party in the Stonybrook end. Let's flip on over out of that one, however. And anyway, Saints are on the defense as we see. Can they kill off a minute? How fast can they kill off this minute? Have to see.
Saints are getting ready for Stonybrook to advance on them, kind of figuring out which way they're going to go. Lots of damage from both sides kind of coming out, especially from that Junkrat, the sprinkle damage from the bombs. Stonybrook makes their way to the statue to face Saints head on. Ryan's with their hammer battle going on. Lots and lots of healing from both sides. Saints do manage to get 2 picks, 2 huge picks for that matter. However, Apostle does get wiped out, although G-Scales manages to take down Solo.
Yeah, G-Scales has been in the front lines, just absolutely dealing out a ton of damage, ton of interference alongside the rest of his team as well. And to be fair, I was going to say pick your poison here. Do you have the split wall come out here from Cheesy, or do you pick that gigantic purple that was initially coming out there from Seawolf? But unfortunately, since everybody was all cut off, they could not capitalize on that purple. So they're back with one final push to try and finish off their attack here. Otherwise, Saints are going to full hold and it'll be their
5 seconds
turn.
remain.
Yep, last 5 seconds, last push. It is all on to this one. Can they make this one happen? They don't even touch. So it's going to be St. Clair with the full hold in overtime. They just have to get one portion, 1/3 of the capture point to take home King's Row.
That's all it's going to take is 1 tick, and they do have 2.5 minutes to do this. It's not looking great for Stonybrook right now, but there is chances for them to come back right now. If they can hold this point, not let St. Clair have even an inch of it, then they will take home the win for this map. However, it's going to be very difficult to do so.
Is 2 counter pick, or not 2 counter pick, 2 CP. Trying to remember, because it is best of 5. I feel like I know a lot of people don't like 2 CP, but we might be going in even at 1-1 into round number 3 in just a moment if it keeps up the way it is. But with Saints only having to get 1/3 of the checkpoint, try for something cheesy, or just kind of play the long game and kind of play standard.
They try for something cheesy.
That was not intentional, but the dad jokes are coming out already. I'm allowed to do that now. So we've got cheesy here. It looks pretty standard, to be fair, though. No teleport shenanigans, no Bastion, no nothing that's out of ordinary, to say the least, for the Saints roster here. Apostle back up and comfortable there. The Reinhardt shatter at some points here. Been a little bit hit or miss so far, but it'd be an awesome time to clutch it out here in this overtime round for game number 2. First attack underway.
Saints are going to try to wrap around this statue. Lots and lots of attacks coming through that left side. Can they speed through this one
Oh, they're
side?
gonna do it.
Yes, they can, and they're going to try to attack. There's no BAP immortality field for Stony, but oh, St. Clair gets walled off and picked off slowly, and now they're scrambling to regroup and get back together for the next push.
Okay, low-key, like, solid job there for Stonybrook. They saw the quick maneuver coming out there from the Saints. They just backed up and took care of it nice and easy, like there was no issue in the slightest. So, not going to get caught off guard. However, like, Saints could be, in theory, like, looking to play the ultimate game. That being said, though, you're playing the ultimate game versus a team that, with these ults, have been able to absolutely convert. We've seen AKJC find a good couple shatters. We know that I've been screaming flowing for this entire game, too. It's just because of these rip tires, and he's about to have it as well. But we're up to see Saints making their way through. They take care of Peach pretty quickly. That's a big support down. But can they convert off it? Solo is down. G-Scale's huge kill. Can they keep themselves on the point? That is so close. They have to have somebody there. Otherwise, this round is gone. There it goes. St. Clair tie the series up 1-1.
Amazing Overwatch right there. When that Baptiste goes down, it's very difficult for Lucio to be able to sustain everybody else. It's kind of just, you know, everybody for themselves at that point. How long can you survive? A little bit of healing that Lucio can put out over time just wasn't enough, and it does appear that St. Clair took this win.
Okay, so it's right to the building. Oh, just got everybody right there in the building, all getting ready to push all at once. Nothing like a rip tire to just shut that down in its tracks. A little bit brutal, but nicely done nonetheless here from the side of Stonybrook to at least try to keep themselves in this one. But Saints are going to come around and take care of it. We see them a little bit more energetic this time after that one. Nice, this players popping off a couple of fist bumps here and there. It's what you like to see. The LAN environment finally coming in clutch. But now where do we go?
St. Clair is, or Stonybrook and St. Clair are 1-1 right now, and you did say it was best of 5, right?
That is correct.
So we're gonna have to see next few games to see who kind of takes that lead. It does appear that Saints were just a little stronger with this hybrid map than Stonybrook, but Stonybrook were a little stronger with the point capture. So really, if this next map is 2CP, I mean, Stonybrook could have the advantage from what we've seen so far.
Okay, I'm just taking a hop into chat here. It's as if the players in the chat are reading. They're asking what the next thing is. Escort. So, okay, we're not going to do any 2CP here today. Which, honestly, thank goodness, we'd be here forever.
Oh, yeah.
So, Rialto is going to be the pick this time by. So, an interesting mix of narrow core, plus areas you can knock people away and hits, but also a couple of critical open areas near a lot of these checkpoints. So, lots of opportunity.
For sure. And this is also a very beautiful map. Lots and lots of colors. There are a lot of spots that are really shaded or indoors, as well as bright open sunshine. So kind of going to be able to see those heroes from way in the dark in the back of a building can be a little bit difficult here. But I do believe these teams, they know these maps inside out, so it shouldn't be a problem for them.
Asking me if they're ready. So we're going to be hopping into this one in just a moment. But while we are actually waiting to hop into this third game, I want a shot at some of our Saints merch. Exclamation mark giveaway in the chat will bring you to our Twitter page right now, where all you have to do is follow, retweet, and like, and you can have your chance at any one item in the shop. So if you want to rep some Saints gear, no easier way than to do that. So be sure to hop on over as we hop ourselves into the game. Just the briefest of moments. Rialto for game number 3. Let's get it going.
Sure. They do say the Saints mask does make you better at casting. Just a little rumor I heard. But we are getting started into this next game here. And
Absolutely.
It does appear that Stonybrook is on attack, I do believe.
So hop along in just the briefest of moments. Definitely not around here. It looks like they're actually going to be on the defensive side of things. As it's going to be the Saints are going to be on the attack. And as of right now, I know you kind of mentioned it a little bit in the pre-show. Available Tracer.
I do believe so. I was watching him practice earlier, and my goodness, it was scary. So I pity whoever goes up against him. However, we do see a Widowmaker out by Solo, and we have seen Solo be absolutely deadly last game. So I don't know what they'll be like on the Widowmaker, but if it's anything like their Junkrat, St. Clair's in for some trouble.
Yeah, a little less, be a little more headshot. And with these long corridors, it could definitely cause trouble, but it's going to be hard. Try and land a headshot up against a Tracer, for sure. However, Cheesy made the switch over to an Echo. And to be fair, we see just a completely different playstyle coming out here from the Saints as well. Our Junk's going to be on the, I almost called it Pharah, but wrong one. Ana this time by. And then Apostle going to be playing Winston, a little bit of more of an in-your-face hopping in kind of tank instead. And then 9 over here on the Brigida. So these guys all just want to go at one point, figure it all, like line it all up at the same time and just absolutely overwhelm one target, or the dive composition is I think what you would normally call it here on the competitive side of things. Ready to get it going there. Arjunk looking for a purple. Had that hit the main tank, that would cut off any healing for that tank. So that would be the go button for the Saints to dive in. Speaking of the go button, Apostle's diving in.
For sure. Apostle's trying to break down that wall the best he can, but it's no avail. However, he does jump in to help his team, and they get 3 picks. However, he does go down. Sacrifice was made to help his team secure that victory, but it's okay. He'll be back in a few moments.
Oh, you type worth in alt chat every single time. Oh, you took the tank out, but I took your team out? Sure, we'll take that. Good job, team. Let's push this thing over. And they're borderline ready to go. Go and get to the go and get this first checkpoint here just under the corridor.
Available just sitting around on the Tracer right now, which is a little interesting, but they must have a plan. However, Apostle
Monkey
gets nanoed into the enemy team. Everybody's purple. It's a massacre. Holy cow. Brigitte just flailing away. Apostle's gonna land on the cart and stake his claim.
He dove in, then got shattered, but it doesn't matter. He was already flying through the air. Whether he's unconscious or not, a flying monkey flying at you is going to hurt like hell. And the rest of the team just absolutely followed up, did exactly what they needed to do. Bailball and the Tracer also just picking off the backline while everyone was distracted as well. You absolutely love to see it. Cheesy, though, going to get caught off guard as Solo Flow made the switch on over to the McCree. And we have a little bit of an early aggression here coming out from the side of Stonybrook, as we do see the Flux coming out here from Eclipse's Sigma, and then Kevin over here on this this Hanzo going absolutely nuts as well.
St. Clair is going to be forced to regroup here. That's the problem, is if one person gets picked off, if you overextend just a little bit and somebody gets picked off, you're going to have to regroup because you can't afford to take that 5v6 and waste time.
Absolutely, and now you see just a lot of switches across the board here with the DPS line of Stonybrook just going for a more long-range style. But AKJC looking to try and take advantage of this Roadhog hook's not going to happen, and here comes 9 along with the rest of the cavalry. He's going to charge on through here with the grab. And Cheesy going to be the first one to find himself an elimination here. And it actually looks like he echoed himself into the Sigma here. Turned himself into Eclipse. Gets the ultimate, holds him up, line him up, and knock him dead. And everybody on the side of the Saints are going to be pushing on forward here. Cheesy eventually going to get shut down. But the rest of the squad should be able to bring this pretty close to that second checkpoint mark.
St. Clair does have to play it a little safe here as they're waiting for Arjunk to come back on that Ana. Brigitte is great when you're in a fight, but not a whole lot of healing output when you're alone. It does appear that Stonybrook did try to take advantage of this. Apostle does pop his ultimate a little bit early before his team to try to push everybody away. But it seems that Deadeye might get him if he's not lucky, and he was lucky enough to get out of there. However, Seawolf pops the rally and gets the team together, and Peach pops the window.
Gosh, this all feels like panic ult after panic ult after panic ult, and now you have to deal with Bailable, who has basically free reign as long as the Hanzo doesn't find a headshot, trying to dodge around and also has to dodge out Flashbang. And there is the Pulse Bomb coming out from Bailable, but it's not going to make its mark. Solo's going to finally punish him for it. And this, you see the points here as the Dragon comes on out. It was so close to that second checkpoint, but I don't think the Saints are going to be able to actually capitalize this time by. Apostle does go down. Arjunk literally 1 HP in a dream, hanging on for dear life, just trying to duel the McCree one-on-one, somehow not going down. Oh, hello, AKJC. Absolutely tearing through the Saints at this point, and it looks like this is just a trickle fest. Wow. And it's Stonybrook hosting.
Arjunk really dodging those bullets like he's in the Matrix. Wow.
Absolutely.
He was trying to run out of there as much as he could, dodging and weaving, and Peach is trying to heal up their team as fast as possible as St. Clair is slowly aggressing onto Stonybrook once again. It appears a rally goes out on the side of St. Clair. 9 pops it. And Apostle is trying to aggress a little bit into Stonybrook, but gets fluxed into the air. Only half his health gone, though, and his team is keeping him up as he keeps pushing into them. He gets stunned and hooked by Hog. Keeps aggressing into Stonybrook, but, oh, wow, pops his ultimate. He's still alive. He's still going. He cannot be stopped. However, Stonybrook did take out the rest of his team, including now.
I was going to say, he might not be stopped, but everybody else on the Saints have dropped. And there's nothing you can do. The Lone Monkey will eventually get taken down. And that is going to actually call for the switch. No more Winston this time here for Apostle. Let's bring the Reinhardt back up. Let's play a more traditional style here for the Saints. More of a hide behind my shield and go rather than the dive comp style that we've been seeing here. Arjunk's back on the Lucio as well, just trying to get a little bit of extra movement and getting a little bit extra in regards to these pickoffs. But that's a nice Dragon coming out here from Kevin, and it's going to get lined up with the whole Hog. AKJC is just going to say, Like, you cannot pass, get back to your spawn. G-Scales got hit so hard, he flew all the way to the river, and everybody is going down slowly but surely. Bailable's going to at least kind of trade a little bit, but I think the Saints are going to be going back to their spawn with 30 seconds left to go on their attack.
Looks like Saints are still trying to push forward a little bit, trying to get those picks, trying to stagger the enemy team the best they can. G-Scales does manage to get a pick on Solo, which is huge. However, Cheesy gets wiped out by AKJC God. G-Scales counter-fluxing the flux from Eclipse. It's just back and forth right now.
A big stun there onto the Roadhog. AKJC gonna hang on for dear life, gonna heal himself back up. Windows galore, but can they get this cart actually back into position? So close, but yet so far, and the Saints are dropping. They have to stay on this point, otherwise overtime is going to tick on down, and they are a little bit out of position here. They're trying, but AKJC's whole hog, they have to pull down the May wall, otherwise they're not going to touch, and they can't touch it. Huge play there from AKJC alongside the rest of the Stonybrook Esports squad to just, like, without a wall, make a wall, and they just absolutely shun the Saints out to only 1 point.
Exactly. That was unlucky for Saints there. Not much they can really do with their team composition. I mean, they did try to get that Sigma eat the best to their ability by G-Scales there, but you can only do so much before everything kind of falls apart. You only have that few seconds to advance onto the other team. However, they did do their best here, and Stonybrook did a great job of holding on this point with such, like, complex verticality in play here.
Yeah, especially with how brutal the first point was held. Like, I'm surprised that Stonybrook did so well, and they held it right here. You can see the outline right here. Stonybrook, they don't have to necessarily get to the second checkpoint. They just have to beat what the Saints did. So right here, the furthest they were able to get it. Now, it's going to be Saints' turn on the defense, and let's see what Stonybrook can do on the attack. If they can somehow either match or better what the Saints were able to pull off on the first point, I think they will be taking Game 3.
Exactly. Really, there will be no tie here. It's one or the other. So we'll see who will remain victorious here, and we'll see who goes on to the next round. 2-1 lead.
So we got a bit of a double bunker double, or a bunker double sniper kind of style here. And just sit on the perch. We've seen how much AK just got literally chunked off of what's probably 2 headshots. So big damage coming out here from Available and Cheesy, but no casualties, and that's the big thing here for the Stonybrook Esports squad. Is that nobody gone down? Kevin, oh my goodness, so close, but not quite going to fall. Apostle, though, he's going to drop down, find Solo a little bit out of position, and that's going to cause 2 members to go down. This might be a good start here for St. Clair.
2 members down means they're probably going to have to try to regroup, or else if they advance like this, they're at an extreme disadvantage and out of chance of being picked off very easily. However, Kevin does get a pick on Cheesy.
Oh my.
Available headshots twice. Or Kevin headshots Available and Arjunk twice there.
The Saints were so prioritized with all of the members that were in the building that Kevin was able to just go up the corridor for free, and he absolutely picked off the 2 squishies. Beautifully done. We all know the Zenyatta does not tank very well, and to be fair, neither does an Ashe. So beautifully done there from Kevin and the rest of the Stonybrook Esports squad. They should be able to take care of this point in just a few moments' time. Sure enough, there's the Q, so it is 1-1. And oh my, Stonybrook have 5 minutes to get it to that highlighted area.
Wow, they have a lot of time. St. Clair, it is not looking good for you. You have to group up quick, or else Stonybrook will keep snowballing. Looks like St. Clair is trying to hold up high here to kind of get that high ground advantage. And they do have Dragons coming up and Flux, as well as Fortify. Bongo. So we'll have to see what happens here. Available does manage to get a pick on Peach, which is huge. With no Baptiste, it is hard to sustain your team.
So far, so good, to be fair, here for the Saints. And okay, yeah, if you're stuck in the stairwell, fire Dragons, and it looks like both teams are thinking the exact same thing. So it is just going to basically be 2 Dragons mutually passing each other in the night, slap 5 on the way across, and then go back to your respective spawn points, because no eliminations this time by here. We've been following along with Cheesy for a little bit, but it's just because these picks are so huge. And we're going to see a shatter come down from the high ground, but they are completely in Solitude because of the bunker. But that being said, we take a look on the streets. This cart's already halfway there. They're almost in position to get themselves the win here in game number 3. Kevin is on a tear once again, but does finally go down, but now leaves the door open for Solo, who is alone on the stairwell. It's going to force the Transcendence to come out here from our junk to trying to stall a little bit more, and thankfully, Cheesy's finding picks.
There's no hope if St. Clair can't get back fast enough, but as I say that, Cheesy gets 3 picks on the enemy team. He really just 1v3'd them and showed them who's boss here on this point. And he gets heals as a little thank you gift from the rest of his team.
Oh, a heal for that. That's a slap 5 at least. And oh no, as they slap 5, Kevin's going to say, okay, you're distracted. I headshot you now. Take care of that. This is a 6-on-5. We see Solo. He's sprinting on in. He wants to get there. He has to deal alongside AKJC as well. Someone check Kevin's files in the chat. Absolutely, the man is on an absolute slaying spree with some of these snipes here today. Absolutely beautifully done, and sure enough, the Dragon actually does take care of our junk as well. There's a lot of kills. Kevin's got nuts. AKJC finds one as well. G-Scales, Lone Diva to try and stop it. Kevin is going to find almost another, and that, sure enough, is going to be Stonybrook Esports getting to the highlighted area, getting themselves the point, and taking the series lead 2-1.
Wow, I am biased towards St. Clair, but the plays by Kevin and Solo, both insane DPS players, very much rivaling our own, trying to prove their point. But here we can see Apostle's ultimate where the flying monkey comes in. Absolutely terrifying. I wish I was on the enemy team to see that perspective, because I'm sure I'd be shaking in my boots.
Well, it didn't occur to me how much actually just lined up with that lone play by itself there. Like, there was Apostle jumping in with the ultimate, yes, and then he was going to do a ton of damage. But I didn't realize that they're actually talking about it here in the chat right now. It was our junk's grenade hit, I believe, 5 of the players. So even if they wanted to heal them, they absolutely couldn't. You're stuck with your anti-heal. So it just meant that everybody alongside Apostle's big landing damage just absolutely crushed it. Definitely a solid play of the game in its own right. But now we see the Saints Overwatch squad in a bit of a hot seat here. Now have to go to game number 4. But try and see what we can do this time by, unless now it's too soon. We'll figure it out. I don't want to speculate because I'm always wrong. But we'll have to see in just a second where we're what happened in Saints looked so strong off the first push, and then they just kind of felt like they just hit a wall and died.
That map can be a little bit difficult once you get past the first point. It has been proven time and time again that teams get stopped right after that staircase, right around the second point there. But it was difficult for St. Clair to be able to hold that. Once Stonybrook got past the first point, they kind of snowballed. They got those few early picks. Got to be really careful not to overextend or to not peek out just a little too much and get picked off early, or else they will punish you for it. As you could see, Stonybrook did take advantage of those tiny flaws, but you know, we have a very new team this semester. Maybe they're gonna talk about it and come back just as strong this next game and kind of fix those little mistakes and be able to make a comeback, and we'll go 2-2 maybe.
Absolutely. Like, I like the fact that they're not just instantly jumping into it and taking their time. Talk about it. Where do we want to go for a map? Do we want to try and play like something that's maybe not frowned upon, but like maybe a little bit unorthodox? And sure enough, the moment I say, is it finally 2, I'm probably wrong. We are off to Volskaya Industry for game number 4. And I was giving Kings Row a hard time for it being either full hold or full completion. 2 CP or 2 capture points, what I'm referring to. Maps like Volskaya, in general, so much more volatile than this. How many times have we seen them win one team fight, capture 1, and then get like 3/4 of the second capture point while they're still respawning?
For sure. There are a lot of times, too, if you capture that first point, or you have 1 tick on that first point, the enemy team will just regroup or jump off the ledge and regroup onto that second point and solidify their defense before you can even think about making your way over there. So that's why these kinds of maps are very, very difficult to push through. And does last a long time because if both teams capture both points, we're just going to keep going until one doesn't.
Absolutely. Sometimes it takes a while, but we'll have to time by, and the Saints don't have any room to try and really adjust here. They have to make this happen. They have to take the victory right here, right now. Otherwise, Host is going to start this NACE regular season off on the wrong foot. But let's see if they can make this happen. Volskaya, we've seen this during the Cheez-Its event over the summer. We know they don't mind this map at least. So we'll have to see how prepared are they to try and deal with this. Now, right now, it's looking divey. Easy on a Genji.
Sure, this is very, very interesting. Genji Tracer, I'm a little bit excited to see that. We do, once again, have the on a break combination from 9 and Arjunk, and Apostle and G-Scales are going to go for the classic dive tanks, Monkey and Zarya. We see on the opposing team here on Stonybrook, we have Zenyatta and Baptiste, and Orisa Sigma, which is very much defense-based, which is great because they are defending on this map. Then we do have a Hanzo and a McCree, which is just huge headshot damage right there. So they could be very, very deadly if they can hit all their shots, which they have proven that they can do that.
Interesting little defensive setup here right now. They're actually bunkering Heaven in, but that is really about it. Everybody else is going to take the far angle on this one. Not going to go towards the side, and sure enough, it's going to be Apostle now diving on in, but he's instantly going to get focused. So I guess if there is a way to try and anti-dive this, right now, Stonybrook are doing exactly what they need to do. Not going to give any sort of flanking opportunities. Have everybody in the background so they can actually see everything that's going on and just pick out the targets as necessary.
I think Clair just needs to get out, not get picked early here. That could be their demise. As you see, they're kind of taking a split approach here with the Sombra on the side, with the Tracer kind of flanking. And they're trying to confuse... It seems they're trying to confuse Stonybrook to the best of their ability by kind of surrounding them, swarming them in.
I mean, we have full vision, and even I'm confused at this point here to see what the Saints are trying to do. I like the idea, but how do you focus one target if everybody is in different positions? Right now, it doesn't seem to be the case. Solo there on the McCree is just going to absolutely shut down Baleable at any time he possibly can. Having that flashbang available, Baleable has to make sure that he dodges that at every single opportunity. Otherwise, it just will not work. And right now, he's feeling maybe a little bit out of it. So he's going to be switching on over to the Hanzo, giving it over. And this is exactly what I was talking about. Flashbang, bam, you're dead. Cheesy going to be going down nice and quick. Arjunk is going to be firing off the Nano, but Baleable on this Hanzo is turning things around ever so slightly. Kevin, though, going to try and turn this one around. Saints have breached the initial area, but they have not gotten themselves onto the actual capture point yet. 9 is going to press that go button, going to get the rally and start charging on forward. The leader in this, maybe a support, but super tanky as well. Baleable gets 1, G-Scales gets 2. And right now, just have to deal with Hammonds and just have to deal with Seawolf. Seawolf is going to end up going down. G-Scales again finding one, and then Cheesy going to get on the board here. Saints have control. They should get this first point, and I would imagine that Stonybrook's just going to give this up at this point.
Looks like the deal is sealed. Saints are going to take this point here. And as you can see, everybody's slowly kind of approaching, trying to get a little bit of poke damage in. Cheesy going in for that cheeky Tracer flank going on, but does manage to get out just before any real damage is done to him. You know, just trying to do a little bit of poke, waiting for his team. Although Kevin is ready with the Dragons to try to push them off of that high ground and get them to retreat. Although Cheesy's taken out by AKJC God as well.
Yeah, never mind the Dragons when AK could just fire off the hook and just get a pick for free. I mean, it's hard to try and hook a Tracer, but I mean, you land it, you get the kill pretty much guaranteed. Tracer, of course, to counteract her speediness is so frail and unlucky there for AKJC as we see the Dragon coming up on the high ground. Can they push this? Are they going to opt to push it? If anything, the Saints are actually kind of coming to them. That's a flying monkey. We're going to hop along here with Apostle, try and move on forward. G-Scales using ult as well. And hello, Big Bang, the classic combo coming out here for Cheesy. And G-Scales going to tear through 3. But that being said, that was much more of a trade than I think you were expecting with that combination. G-Scales is eventually going to get shredded, but maybe not. There are some cavalry coming back, but AKJC did not have much health left. Eclipse eventually going to take care of it, and yeah, that was a nice play. However, it was just too much of a trade. The Big Bang was sweet, but the defense was better.
Sometimes it's difficult to see exactly what's going on when they combo that many ults together and the enemy team reacts that fast. But it seems St. Clair did all die around the same time, so they were able to regroup in a timely manner, and they still have 3 minutes to try to push this point and get the second point under their belt to kind of secure that little bit of safety for the next round.
Absolutely brutal there. Apostle had that Discord orb on from Seawolf, so bonus damage anytime he gets shot. And getting hooked by AKJC just sealed his fate. And G-Scale's going down shortly after the fact as well. It means that the Saints are going to be stuck trickling. Arjun, good dodge on the hook, actually. That would have easily been curtains there for him. And Saints, back to the drawing board.
Arjun is proven to be very good at dodging things. Just trying to stay alive, which is great as a healer. Although Cheesy does get taken out by Kevin. And Saints are getting staggered after staggered. They've almost burned a whole minute just being staggered. So they're going to need to regroup, maybe even hide and spawn for a minute. Be able to regroup and try to push this point.
Absolutely a tough spot to be in, but I hear the nano boost, but I also see
Oh!
Throat Hog. Granted, the ult came out, but a nice sleep dart coming out from Arjun. It's going to stop it short, but it still was effective. It did still push Apostle aside. We do have the Graviton coming through. We have a lot of damage as well, and it's looking so far so good here for the Saints, but can the Dragon turn this? That would be an absolute game changer. Kevin, again, check his files. He's doing fantastic here today. And you know how it is. If someone's accusing you of cheating in esports, it means you are absolutely doing crazy. Keep doing what you're doing. It's Apostle back on point, has the Primal Rage. Can he hang on for dear life? They do have 2 ticks here of the second capture point. To be fair, they are so close, but can they get that second point?
In the great words of Phil Swift, the CEO of FlexTape, you know, that's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage indeed. And here comes some more. We have another Graviton. The tanks don't stand a chance. They're just going to get melted. Kevin with the double. AKJC on the hamster. Going to just absolutely crush through it as well. And Saints are cleaned up.
Saints really got pushed off that point there. They only have a minute to regroup. They might get picked off by Kevin if they're not careful. That Brigida shield is very, very helpful to try to stop that, of course. Kevin trying to get an early pick. He knows if he can get a pick here, it could mean the difference between a win or a lose.
Absolutely. Between the 5v6 or a 6v6, or even better if they can manage to find one. AKJC has the same idea, but that hook, it goes wide. It's going to be on cooldown for just a little bit. Where do the Saints take their engage? They have no ultimates right now. They blew so much on that last engage that they don't really have a whole heck of a lot to play with, and there's only 30 seconds left. The Saints are going to get melted, and to be honest, they should just lose this fight super hard and come back with another opportunity when they have an ultimate available.
Not sure if that's what they're going to choose to do. They're kind of just sitting in the open here.
Half and halfing it, really.
It could really be anybody's game right now. They're kind of back and forth. However, the Deadeye comes out. Doesn't manage to hit anybody yet. G-Scales gets Seawolf. That's a huge pick by grabbing one of their healers. But Bailable goes down, and Saints take out 3 members of Stony. And they're going to win.
Wow.
The point. Wow.
I mean, when in doubt, just send it, I guess.
Yeah.
That's one way to do it. I did not expect that, but they put the nano onto G-Scales and just said, dude, just run. Just go forward, hold W, and try to get to the point. And to be fair, the positioning of Stonybrook, it must have caught them a little bit off guard because they lost 3 and there was nobody else there.
I do believe that was truly one of the power of friendship moments there. Just kind of just decided to commit to that one push, trusted in each other, and look at how far it got them. So we're very excited to see who's going to play what this round. St. Clair is on defense. Can they stop Stonybrook for getting that to that second point? Or will we play the dreaded back and forth of 2CP?
We'll be sure to save that for the Crunchyroll Power of Friendship moment of the match. Okay, let's get that going. Anyway, that'd definitely be funny. And these tight game scenarios are all down to the last moments. Definitely applicable here. But now we are seeing some heroes that we've not seen the Saints play all game so far.
Wow, we see a Reaper and a Moira coming out here.
Yeah, the Sombra as well come out here from Cheesy. It is about as divey and flanky as you can possibly get. They're on defense. I mean, it's possible, but this has me so nervous, and this has the game implication in this as well. And I like it. What we see here, around the corner. Sneaky, sneaky shotguns available, ready and waiting. Will it be super effective? We will find out momentarily.
They might play a very attacky defense here as Stonybrook kind of walks right into their trap. Apostle jumps right in, Available with the shotguns in their face. Cheesy manages to pick off Kevin, a huge pick for them, and Solo does go down. They have no DPS on the side of Stonybrook. St. Clair just slowly trying to pick off those tanks. Available flailing those shotguns in their face as well. AKJC God is almost out, but G-Scales manages to get Seawolf out of the picture, and Apostle takes out Eclipse. However, Kevin does get his revenge by taking out 9. Available gets right back with the AKJC God kill and the kill on Peach.
Okay, so we were wondering if it would be effective, and I would say that that was super effective. Nicely done there from the Saints. A nice change of pace, change of style, absolutely clutching it up. However, now the side of Stonybrook knows exactly what's up. The gig is up, how do you deal with it? You just throw yourself at it again and hope for the best, or you're going to be able to figure it out. Well, as the Saints are respawning, to be fair, they found themselves in the position to keep on moving here, so not bad on the side of Stonybrook. Saints were just too busy kind of recovering, it looks like. But where is the flanks? We do see the Primal Rage coming out. Goodbye, Hanzo, one way or another. Never mind, hangs on by a thread. Does he live? No, he does not. And they're just going to straight up jump off, I think, at this point, because they are losing this fight ever so slowly. Granted, they did get 1 tick. They got the 1/3 of capture point A underway. And the Mario ults, the Kamehameha coming in clutch here to at least clean that up a little bit. While also doing its kind of healing as well. One of the most satisfying ultimates, I gotta say.
For sure. It's great, but it's just not good enough to take that point. They're going to need to do a lot more to be able to secure that point in the next 2 minutes. St. Clair kind of doing like a dive, but in reverse. Trying to jump on them as soon as they walk into their grasp here. Because they inevitably do have to do that. Oh, big EMP by Cheesy! Almost everybody on the team, they absolutely just pick everybody off as they're helpless to that EMP.
Of course, for those who don't know, that EMP just completely gets rid of your ability to use, well, any abilities. The only thing you can do is move and shoot, and to be honest, if you are a tank or a healer or basically anything at this point, you just lose so much and you just get absolutely melted. It just let Available spin to win all over him and just melt through the squad. He got credited for 2 of the kills, but everybody got to have a little fun on that one.
For sure. And they're jumping onto Stonybrook again, trying to push them back out of that bridge area. Solo does manage to wipe out G-Scale's big pick on the tank. However, Seawolf does pop Rally, trying to push their team through. Available, knocked out Solo. It's kind of back and forth right now. Eclipse, and wow, Stonybrook wiping out half of the St. Clair squad here. And it looks like they might try to take this point. Sombra barely escaping from the side of St. Clair, and 9 just trying to do a little bit of poke, trying to kind of stall that point until St. Clair can get there.
It's eventually going to be taken down. It looks like Cheesy gets taken out as well. So honestly, valiant defense there for the Saints. Knock them down to 40 seconds left on the clock. Granted, now this does get captured, they're going to get a little bit more. They have 3 minutes now to try and get themselves this second position, but they have to get the full capture. Unfortunately, they're just letting G-Scales with the Nano run all the way onto the point, and everybody dropping is really going to hurt them here. It would be so much better if they only had to do like maybe 2/3. But Saints making the play, making it work for them, so gonna have to do this the hard way as we have our first team fight.
Kevin takes out Apostle, which is a huge pick, but Cheesy gets revenge and takes out AKJC God. Neither team has Reinhardt right now, and that's terrifying. However, 9 does pop the Kamehameha from Moira and kind of pushes everybody back, doing a little bit of damage. Eclipse doesn't like that and takes out Available, and Seawolf takes out Cheesy.
Yeah, slowly right now. Eclipse is basically leading the charge here. Gonna Graviton the double combo here. Arjunk and Ryan Apostle both going down alongside the Dragon. This is exactly what Stonybrook need to do in this situation. Halfway home if they can keep this push going. The Saints are trickling. Emergency Doomfist on duty gets instantly put to rest. And now Available has nowhere to go. Eclipse gonna chase him down. The Deadeye on top of this. The Saints are falling. And right now, this is actually worst case scenario here for the Saints because they can't attack again. But our friends here, our opponents on Stonybrook, they have the opportunity to try and now get, I believe, 1 tick. Get it. And they have how much time here? 2 minutes and 18 seconds to get 1/3 of a capture point, and they'll take the series.
Saints really did their best to try to go marching in, but it just wasn't enough. Now they're going to have to hold this defense and just do their absolute best to not even let a tick go by, or else it's GG and Stonybrook wins the series.
Are right around the corner well from a possible draw if the Saints can full hold here, because then there is no overtime on top of the overtime here. 2 minutes 18 seconds. To be fair, that isn't a whole heck of a lot, and to be fair, off the initial defense was kind of strong. They were holding it there for so long. They were winning up until they didn't, and it took like 4 minutes to do it.
Sure. If they can manage to do that, actually, they're going for a little bit of a different approach. As we say that, Apostle is opting to choose that Reinhardt, and we are seeing more of a stalling DPS duo, or full comp in general, that main wall. If you block off that main entrance, it's almost impossible to get around other than if they have a Hanzo that can climb up, you know, and they're really going to be able to lock that down, and I think that's what they're going to play, is the stall game here.
Well, they might have the stall game. However, looking at the side of Stonybrook, they do seem to have not a full dive, but it is kind of a charging composition with the backup of 2 snipers. And then, I mean, the support of Baptiste from far range as well. So they do not mind being up in your face here. And it's just going to be just 2 boxers just swinging at each other here as we see the 2 Reinhardts going at it. And right now, so far so good. Big pick for Apostle. Fire Strike takes care of Kevin. And can they hold them here for much longer? With all of them grouped up here, 9 has been doing an absolute ton of healing alongside Arjunk, and G Scales is going to find Seawolf too. So this, in theory, should shut the push down for at least a second. But there's still 1:35 on the clock. Another kill there for Bailable. Nice pick there. And a nice separation there. Good wall. It should actually, honestly, if I was the Saints, I'd floor it, but I'm also like a Bronzy, so don't listen to me.
They must be careful not to overextend here, because that main Cheesy was dangerously close to getting wiped out, but his team was able to pull him back. Hey man, we gotta pull the leash back. He can't go all the way in as much as we'd like to.
I mean, it's not overextending if everybody does it, right?
True.
No, just kidding, just kidding.
It is C9ing though.
Yes, that is a fact, especially with only a third of the point it happened to be gone. That would be a bad time, absolutely.
For sure.
Last minute of play, Cheesy finds Kevin, who has been critical so far in this series, and he's went down twice. That Shatter got nothing but shield. Beautiful block from Apostle. Saints are doing everything they need to right, but they just have to watch out for the Grab Dragon combo here from Eclipse and Kevin as soon as he's back. And Apostle does have the Shatter to try and answer. Arjunk has shields. Cheesy has blizzards. We have options, but can they play it properly? That blizzard got eaten from Cheesy. I don't think it got anywhere at all. Instantly going down. Wasted ultimate. That Shatter was huge. AKJC really trying to make things difficult. 9 somehow keeping Apostle alive. Back and forth over and over again. 3 on 4 here. Apostle makes this a 3 on 3. Saints are on the point. I hear a dragon coming from somewhere. Is this from Kevin? I think it very well might be. Gonna take the high ground, but somebody's got to be on point. Here comes the dragon. Nobody's going to be going down, but Apostle is so low versus so many. 9 goes down as well. Can they keep themselves on here? G-Scale's emergency wrecking ball coming through, but I think there's just too many. But at this point, the overtime coming through is going to make things clutch. He got booped away. Can they get there? Just in time. We see up in the top screen, that is the screen we're talking about, and sure enough, the Saints are going to get shut down. Stonybrook, huge attack on these 2 CP maps, and they are going to take the series in 3-1 fashion.
Wow, that was absolutely crazy. Here we can see G-Scale's Zarya grab here, I do believe. Yes. Here we go.
They got so many of them, to be fair. And then, yeah, like everyone, guns or not, they're just jumping in. You're just punching people at this point.
Oh, yeah.
You're just summoning a mosh pit at this point here for the Saints as that one happens. But unfortunately there, for the Saints, they are going to get shut down 3-1 fashion. Stonybrook coming in absolutely swinging. Love to see it. Unfortunate way for the season to start here for the Saints. Obviously a little bit down after that one, rightly so. You don't want to start off the season going down on your first game, especially one that, to be fair, it felt winnable. It was just super close, to be honest here. Like, big props to Stonybrook. I was not expecting that quality of match tonight.
I would like to see later in the semester, once the Saints get to play together a little bit, learn that chemistry, especially in person, not on their own setups. I'd like to see an anime redemption arc, you know, as we are sponsored by Crunchyroll.
Absolutely.
I would like to see that redemption arc coming back and staking their claim. This is our game, But great Overwatch by both teams tonight, especially at the end there. Nine's pocket on Apostle was insane. He just made sure he is not going to die, and neither will Apostle.
Yeah, that was absolutely nuts. This hung on by a thread, and to be honest, everybody was hanging on by a thread by the time that that overtime kicked on in. And to be fair, Saints just needed one interaction to go their way, and all of a sudden, the overtime bar would have ticked down, and we would have had ourselves a draw. We would have done Game 4, Part 2. Unfortunately, not quite going to be the case this time by. Saints are going to end up getting shut down here, but we'll see a lot more of them coming up in the next couple of weeks, as well as basically, I think as soon as we hit September 20th, every game starts for the most part, and we're still in preseason for some. But I know for anything NACE related, it is going to be the regular season. It's for all, not for all the marbles, but it's definitely when it counts. So day one of the semester, but we're not wasting.
Sure.
Now, quick before we do close on out, so let's take a look at a couple of our sponsors. Why don't we? Of course, Crunchyroll being one of the new ones that just hopped on board, and an absolutely huge one. Basically, your go-to spot for streaming manga or anime. Absolutely love to see it, and of course, just gamer culture, anime culture. Like you've made many references today. I'm like I said, Kamehameha or something. That's not gaming. That's Dragon Ball. But nonetheless, love anime here. Love to have Crunchyroll on board, and of course, you can get yourself a 14-day premium trial just by going below. It'll get you into the right spot to get started, and try not to binge watch. Then meanwhile, we had mentioned the giveaway earlier. It is still going on for some of our new Saints merch this time by the darker themed overall instead of the light. I know we've seen a lot of compliments with this new lineup, to the point where like a lot of people have that one item at least that they want. I know Jackson was making the comments about, I think it was a crew t-shirt something a little bit earlier today, but I know I got to pick up a jersey at some point. Acquired.ca/Saints to get one, or exclamation mark giveaway. Prior hand and our giveaway. Pick one item of any of the items in our acquire shop. Might be able to get yourself whatever you wish. It's right there.
Sure, and of course we know gamers do like their dark themes, so it doesn't hurt your eyes in the night when you're playing video games until 3 a.m. instead of doing that homework.
What are you talking about? We have a bunch of good students. They do their homework prior to. Right?
Of course.
As well, we do also want you to connect with us. So, of course, be sure to join us and follow us on any of our social media platforms. I know we're going to be doing a ton of work to make sure that we can get a bunch of new content out, especially for YouTube as well. I know you're used to at this point finding all the matches right here, but we are going to be working on a bunch of behind the scenes, a bunch of additional content as well. So make sure you join us on YouTube as well. And it's also just another spot where we have all of our VODs as well, if you do want to catch the action later on.
Definitely want to check out our and our sponsors for that matter. We do have Zekelman School of Business, Crunchyroll, the SRC, St. Clair College, Tim Horton. I'm not missing any. They are going to roll across the screen here. So take a look at their beautiful for us.
Absolutely. I think the only one you missed there was just Subway, but you basically got it right on the nail. So nicely done. Or a big thank you to all the sponsors that make this all possible here. Being able to level up the broadcast, level up the team, it's all thanks to you. And also big thank you to everybody for tuning in. Always a pleasure having the broadcast for all of you at home. And to be honest, just started. Again, thank you all for tuning in, and we in just a second. Any final thoughts before we do close out for tonight?
Very exciting to be back, well, to be in person for the first time at St. Clair College tonight. Lots of great esports, both Rocket League and Overwatch tonight, and hopefully many more to come.
Absolutely. Definitely last, and there's going to be definitely way more where that came from, especially starting next week. So I think we'll catch you on Monday. Unofficial right now, but we will catch you next Monday from Valorant time. So that'll be exciting. Thank you all for tuning in. and we'll catch you